I'm Van.
I'm Sori.
That's Booby.
And Colby and Chip.
Hey guys. Good cause alert. Alert. Our big homie Mikey, Atheist Mikey.
His mom.
It's my buddy. He's got a GoFundMe for his mom. Our Patreon group has already been extremely freaking generous. Hey, click the link, read the story. It'll be in the description. This is Mikey and his mama.
I always think it's cute when sons love their moms.
Yeah. So
I think that was part of the reason why I always kind of wanted a son, because I'm like, I wonder what that would be like.
now you have it.
Now I'll know.
So yeah, Mikey loves his mama, and you guys know how I feel about my mama, so I was a little particular to him. Plus, Mikey's probably one of my best atheist friends of all time. So, if you feel led,
Definitely one of your favorites.
God or Jesus,
Kick out of him.
or Allah, or whoever tells you to donate, please donate to very, very, very good cause.
The link will be in the description. So.
It's more blessed to give. It's more blessed to give than receive. So I'm just giving you an opportunity to bless yourself.
Right.
Iron Maiden. You see what I did there?
I do.
Iron Maiden Aces High. I didn't want to be selfish and take all the blessing for myself.
Yeah, that's nice.
Iron Maiden Aces. And by the way, the blessing you get is just the joy of helping another beautiful image bearer of God. You're not going to get like something on the back end, like money's not going to fall from the sky.
Right. Yeah.
I just wanted to be clear.
Let's make this clear. Yeah.
Aces High. Iron Maiden. One of my favorite bands of all time. And let's go. It's a song about card games.
And go.
Already.
right.
Iron freaking Maiden, ladies and gentlemen.
You know what? I think because we're working on another project right now, that made this even more reason to appreciate music.
You don't know what we're talking about?
No, and you never shall.
But I know exactly what you're talking about. Text us later. We'll let you know. I agree. This was before we were born. Oh, man. Good
This is good.
Lord.
I wonder if like they wrote this about what they heard and saw, or if this was, you know, if this had to do with like, you know, maybe there was like a family member that, you know, that was a part of this. Can you imagine like, you're like, you know how like great uncles and stuff, like, well, I don't know if you have that experience actually. Like, you know, my meme would tell us stories of the past and stuff like that. Like, is that something your family did?
No.
So, like, you know, if
Well,
it was,
they probably would have, but we were never around
to hear them.
our extended family.
But
we didn't hang around our extended family a lot.
Imagine if
Thank you for bringing up more painful experiences in
I'm
the past.
sorry,
I appreciate
babe.
it. You don't love me. Go ahead.
I do love you. Imagine if you, like, you know, you're like the great uncle, you know, and you're talking about your war exhibitions, you know what I mean? Like, and because when they're talked about, it's really, I mean, there are some times where I think that if people talk about it, it's probably because their experience was, I don't know, like it affected them one way. Like people that don't talk about it, I would think that their story is more like, I don't know, bothersome to them. But anyway, like if you were the great uncle and you're like sharing about your, like, what it was like, or you're the, like my meme would share about her brother. So her, you know, and then like if your grandkids like went away and like made a song about it. You know what I mean? That would be like crazy.
That would be
friggin'
that
kids
would be
finally
epic.
listen, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be epic. That would be epic. My favorite story about the whole bomber pilot thing or whatever in World War II was that situation with Charlie Brown. The guy's name is Charlie Brown.
Okay.
So he was a bomber pilot, and these guys were not bomber pilots. These were the fighter pilots. But so he got shot up or whatever, right? He got hit in the shoulder was bleeding. This is what he said. I either spiraled out or spun and came out of the spin just above the ground. My only conscious memory was of dodging trees, but I had nightmares for years and years about dodging buildings and then trees. I think the Germans thought that we had spun in and crashed.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So he's flying, right? And then Lieutenant Franz Stiegler, who was a Luftwaffe fighter pilot, which what this song is about, is fighting against the Luftwaffe fighter pilots, right?
Yep.
Just in from shooting down two B-17s, saw this guy limping basically in the air, right? Naturally, he scrambled to give chase, but what he saw arrested any aggression he may have had. As he told many interviewers in 1991, he was aghast at the amount of damage the bomber had sustained. Its nose cone was missing and had several gaping holes in the fuselage. He could see crew members giving first aid to the wounded, and most of the plane's guns hung limp, unmanned as they were. I saw his gunner lying in the back profusely bleeding, so I couldn't shoot. I tried to get him to land in Germany, and he didn't react at all, so I figured, well, turn him to Sweden because his airplane was so shot up. I never saw anything flying so shot up. And so then this guy, the German, is trying to get the guy to surrender. When Franz tried to get me to surrender, now this is the American, my mind just wouldn't accept that. It wasn't chivalry, it wasn't bravery, it was probably stupidity. My mind just didn't function in a clear manner, so his choice was then to kill us or to try to get us to go to Sweden, because we wouldn't land. So they wouldn't land. And this German guy escorted them to Sweden so that, you know,
Yeah.
they and they wrote letters to each other and they found each other and all that. And it's a beautiful story. And he says, you know, this is my brother, the German guy.
Yeah.
Says he loves this guy more than he loves his brother. Allahu Akbar.
Oh my God.
So it's just a
Wow.
crazy
Yeah.
story of, you know, obviously this song is, you know, about the war and, you know, and all that, but like, it was pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It was that was the first time I saw that was on History Channel. I was like, couldn't believe it. I was so blown away.
Yeah, you've brought that story up a few times, and it makes me emotional every time you bring it up. I'm like, I can't believe this happened.
Yeah. It's just a crazy story. Like, the guy was completely at his mercy, but subhanallah, was it the milk of human kindness? You know, but
yeah, because he could have thought, well, yeah, they look in a shabby estate now, but they're gonna get nursed back to health, and they're gonna get in a working plane, and they could kill one of my.
Which is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure, that's exactly what happened.
Maybe at the heart of it, we don't really want to kill each other.
No, it's very difficult
There's
to kill
stuff
another.
that we have to do.
It's very different. It's a crazy situation. This whole war thing.
Yeah.
It's a terrible thing. Because what happens is the reason the guy said he ended up loving the guy more than his own brother was because there's a certain camaraderie in war, like that you feel even with the opposing force, that you feel like a certain type of camaraderie because they're going through something that nobody else knows what it's like. So your own family members don't know what it's like, but the enemy does. They know what it's like to get up in a plane and realize that this might be the last time I could die. As a matter of fact, there's a very, very big chance that I could die.
Right.
Like, a lot of these dudes actually did obviously end up dying. You know, and then the more you were an ace fighter pilot, the bigger your legend grew, and then the more you were a target. So
yeah.
So I could see.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're.
No, I was gonna move on to another
No, go
question. Well, I don't know what ace is high means.
Well, ace is high, and ace is a what do you call it? A card. You know, in the cards, it's usually the high card.
Yeah.
But in World War II, if you were a fighter pilot who were like shooting people down or whatever, you became an ace. So you're like an ace fighter pilot. See what I'm saying?
Oh.
So it's a double entendre for the card, but also, you're an ace because you can shoot down other. If you were shooting down other planes, then you were an ace.
Well, what does the card have to do with this, though? You said it's a double.
Well, ace is high is a term that's used in a card game, right?
Oh.
But in this context,
I see.
ace is a fighter pilot who's known for shooting people down or whatever.
Known for being good at what they do.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is shooting people.
Yeah. Right.
Getting them out of the sky.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty crazy.
Oh my word! I can't imagine the adrenaline rush that you would get as you're running in there, trying to get in there and get up before you get shot down.
These guys, I'll tell you what. This. I've been in very dangerous situations in my life. Okay. I would never, ever, ever take this job. I would never do that.
No, you don't want to come out of a plane like that.
I'm not okay. Like put me in 5 guys and say, oh, okay, here's some terrible village somewhere in some terrible place on the planet that nobody knows. I'd be just as comfortable there as I am right now. But nope.
Because you don't want to fall out of the sky.
There's just too many variables, too many things you can't control, and I don't have the confidence that I'm that good of a shot. I'm not a good shot.
Or a maneuver to avoid their shots.
You know who would kick ass? Zoe would do good at that.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing is, I know who I am. I know who I'm not. Put me on the ground with a couple. Well, I don't need a couple dudes. I feel I'll be okay. This, no, I would never do it. I would never do it. Like these people, especially during. I mean, the Germans were like completely superior. Their air power was insane. And so it was just like, you were most likely gonna die in a freaking plane crash. And like these guys, I've read a couple, I haven't read a lot of literature about these guys because like I said, I'm a land guy, I'm not that guy. A lot of these guys knew they were gonna die in a plane crash.
Well.
And they just got used to the idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of them, the John Piper thing where the guy was singing
Yeah.
Oh, what a beautiful! And his plane was
Well, I
going
thought
down.
he was a Christian.
He was, but still, the kid got shot down, and the plane's crashing, and he's saying, "Oh, what a beautiful feeling." That's all they heard.
Oh, what a beautiful day.
Yeah.
I have a terrible
He said, "I have a terrible feeling. Things aren't going my way."
Yeah, everything's coming my way.
And he was crashing. He was going to die, and that was just a completely different breed of human being. Those people. Like that's a completely different level of iman or nafs in the nafs there. That's just a completely different level.
Well, yeah.
Because for me, it's just I just feel like if I was outnumbered on the ground, like the whole lone survivor thing, like I feel like as irrational as it sounds, I feel like I'd have made it out of there.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, your mindset is always, I'm going to make it out.
I'd make it out of there, but a plane crash?
But these people are not saying, I'm going to make it out. They're just saying, I'm going to die in a plane crash. So their mindset is different. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You know, sometimes people do things that are like extremely risky, but they just think they're going to make it out.
Yeah.
But that's not what these people are saying. That's
much respect to the British RAF, man.
Wow.
Those guys were ridiculous. The amount of stories of heroism in World War II, like it's innumerable. Mm-hmm. Because these guys were like, you know, they had this thing a couple of years ago, like a decade ago, where it's like the greatest generation or whatever, mm-hmm. and like people were offended. How could you say they're the World War II? Mm-hmm. How could you say it's the greatest generation? There's been war fighters in every generation or whatever. But believe me, even war fighters in this generation, when they look back at those guys, like the amount of heroism was insane. It was unbelievable what these guys were doing. And the odds that they were facing and the realities that they accepted as young, I'm talking 18, 19, 20-year-old kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, can you imagine Dorian in 6 years making those decisions? Mm-hmm. They're just amazing. I have so much respect for those people because on both sides, mm-hmm. the German guys too, like, you know, Hitler was a horrible person, okay, but every single German fighter pilot was not a Nazi. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, they had family back home, there was a war, they're gonna fight for their country, period. Yeah. And so the whole world was against us. So, I mean, both sides, I mean, they were just amazing. And we just read it. That was a German guy who escorted the American into safe airspace and made sure he landed safely, you know? Yeah. So, it's not as simple as saying, you know, I mean, nobody's
good
making...
guys and the bad guys.
But the German was objectively fighting for a bad team, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he was a bad person individually. Mm-hmm. You know, that's the thing. Yeah. That's where, you know, that's how I function as a collectivist and say, collectively speaking, he's bad, but as an individual, you can still be good, even though you're a representative of a bad collective. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, this is just amazing stuff. I can't wait, you know, in homeschool when we do World War II and history and stuff like that, to play this song and say, how does this song relate to the whatever? Mm-hmm. That'd be crazy if, like, they all picked up instruments and was able to do this, and were able to combine art with history.
They don't seem like they have interest in instruments.
Yeah, they're not instrumentally inclined at all. They just want to fight. They like fighting.
Yeah, they all have that warrior thing going.
They're like, yeah, it's all.
We brought Salem to her doctor's appointment. The doctor's like, "What do you like to do to kind of get your blood going and stuff?" Salem's like, "I love play fighting with my sister." I'm like.
They love jihad.
She's like, she takes it easy on me.
Jihad. Yeah. Our kids aren't musically, so we'll just do a play where.
And honestly, like I always wanted like
you like fighting too.
Well, yeah, I do, and I'm not like instrumentally inclined, but I always wanted like, you know, even if it's the harmonica, some music playing. You know what I mean? Right. Somebody that's just making something from their heart. You can hear it coming out.
Dorian can play music. He's musically inclined. Remember when he had the little piano thing or whatever? Yeah. He just didn't stick with it because then he ran into MAIDEN. But who knows? Maybe if we can get him maybe I'll buy him a little keyboard. See what he does. He has
a keyboard.
Maybe if I buy him one, that'll inspire him. Who knows? I don't know. But he's the only shot we have. Everybody else loves jihad.
Oh, no.
Zoe loves it. Johan loves it. Sayla loves it. They all love it. Orion, he's kicking yesterday. I was like, hey, what's up, buddy? He's like, get off me. Ace
Yeah,
high.
if he was in if there was like a class, like
Dorian?
you bring him like 6 weeks to an hour-long class, so he gets to go to the class and they tell him what he needs to practice and stuff like that. It actually might be good for him.
Dorian?
And then maybe if he did that, then the other ones, how they all are about being like,
See,
wanting to outdo each other.
the thing is, Zoe can sing. Zoe sings and she writes music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she does.
Anyway, what does it have to do with Aces High? Nothing.
Yeah, that's my Sori Life channel.
Welcome back. But yeah, much respect to those guys, man. I almost never. The reason I never talk about them is because I haven't read. I don't even. I think I've read one. You know how many war books I've read and on killing.
But this
and
type
stuff
wasn't.
Like I didn't even read that because I'm like, no, I have no interest in that. I'm not going to engage. I was like, why would I read that? I'm not going to engage in that type of warfare ever. So I never even read it. Like the most I need to be on a plane is put me on a AC-130 and get me over where I need to go.
Now you just need trip to name. That's what the plane is for.
Yep. It's all it's for. But golly. I cannot communicate how much I respect those guys for that.
Yeah.
So, hats off to Britain. Hats off to America. Hats off to Germany. Hats off to all y'all. Inshallah, everybody's meeting up with the Ein Sof right now, and they'll say, what the hell were we fighting about?
Yeah.
I really believe that. That's what I think.
Yeah, I wonder if,
that's what I think.
Stuff is going to seem so simple. It's like, oh, well.
Well, it's like,
should have just.
Yeah, we should have just talked it out. You can't. But then they were like, well, you can't really talk it out with Hitler.
Right.
And like, where is Hitler? And God's like, he's not here, fellas. Sorry. He's not here. He's in the other place. All right. What an evil guy, huh?
Hitler?
Yeah, when I just think of all these virtuous men and women that had to die for his bullshit.
Yeah.
And he didn't even have the decency to go out like a man.
I know.
Hiding like some coward, while beautiful people like this ended up. It makes me so angry. It's like, come on, bro. These are, it's like when I listen to hadith about the lives of these people.
Yeah.
Like Muhammad was there in Uhud. Like he could have been killed. He was there in Badr. Like he could have been killed. Like go out there. He didn't even take part, but of course he took part in World War I. He was there. But he sent those people, these better men and women than he was. He sent these beautiful people off to die in this horrible conflict.
For me, it always bothered me the most that you would send people to those concentration camps, and as they were suffering in those camps, you were at home eating your dinner, all warm.
Astaghfirullah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I listen to these hadiths about these very virtuous, Muslim people, Abu Bakr, Umar ibn al-Khattab, all these beautiful people. But Muhammad was there.
Yeah.
And like, it's like, when you hear the stuff that these guys were doing, like Talha, he stops an arrow with his hand, like what in the world? And then you're like, whoa! And you think, Muhammad said this is the best generation of all time, because of course, if you see something like that, if you see these people with that type of devotion and that type of bravery and that type of disregard for their own personal safety, but then you have a generation like this, and it's like, whoa. Stakes are so much higher. I mean, these guys were going out literally to save the freaking world.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it's just crazy to me. It's crazy to me that in war sometimes you see the epitome of the virtue of what human beings are capable of, simultaneous to the evil that we're capable of, and sometimes they're the same person at the same time. But yeah, much respect to Britain, much respect to America, much respect to Germany, for sure.
Respect to the warriors.
For sure. They all brought us here. All right, what do you get the song? It's an obvious 10 for me.
9.
How dare you? How dare you?
I was gonna say 9.9, but I really don't know what would make it a 10. I don't know. So I guess I'll give it a 10.
Very good. It's a 10.
Actually, I'm gonna make it a 9.9.
How dare you're spitting on the memory of these beautiful
to
people.
irritate you. It would be okay. 10.
Good. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and for Dos inshallah. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.